Hey guys, welcome to Masquerade of Motherhood, or as I like to call it, the Mom Show. I'm your host, Courtney Doyle, and this is a place where I am giving you permission to not have it all together. I have some really exciting news. Due to the response from the podcast, I have decided to take the Mom Show on the road. Yep, you heard that right. I am looking to partner with mom groups, small groups, women's events, or Bible studies. They could be in your home or in your church. I want us to join together and remove the masks we wear and claim our identity in Christ. If you're part of a group and you would like for me to speak, follow the link to my website, CourtneyDoyleMinistries.com, and complete the request.
Are you and I mothering our children like we know that God is faithful, that He's done great things? Because if there's a disconnect, then we need to get real with that. Maybe we need to build an Ebenezer and to remember the good things that God did. Got us through another day.
Yeah.
Provided for us and provided a new friend for our child, or a teacher that was particularly helpful, or accountability. To remember those things and to model remembering the good things that God does.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Mom Show. Today is Mom 101, and it's not just one tip, it's 5 tips. I have collected tips from my last 2 guests, Neese and Katie Dunn, because I felt like they needed their own show today as reminders, which is exactly what Amberly was just talking about. Model remembering the good things that God does. Sometimes we need a reminder. As we raise kids, it is easy to forget the good things that happen in our lives and in their lives. She refers to it as spiritual amnesia, and boy, isn't that the truth. We forget when times get tough that life doesn't look the way we expected it, and we forget God's promises on their lives and on our lives. We forget all that we truly have to be grateful for. Our optimism can quickly be clouded by a pessimistic spirit. If it's bad, it's going to always be bad. If they don't listen now, well, they're just never going to listen. If he can't make good choices today, will he ever make good choices? My guest last week says it like this. Let's listen.
How are we irrationally optimistic when I particular am very rational? What I'm trying to do with him a little bit more is just trying to understand his mindset and where he's coming from. All of our children are gifted in so many different special ways, and really trying to parent the child that I have, not to parent the child that I thought I would have.
What if we parented the child that we have and not the child that we expected or the child that we are hoping for? What Katie is saying is being irrationally optimistic for our children today. And it's easy for us to do that because often we have a better lens of our rationality than our kids do. But most of the time, we've earned those glasses. And like we discussed in that episode, it was our own trials and difficult seasons that got us to that and provided a clearer thinking. What if we didn't pigeonhole our kids into one way of thinking or being? Between these 2 ladies who love the Lord, they have walked the road of adult children. There are so many lessons that we can take away from their experiences. I've combined the top 5 for today's Mom 101. Let's start with number 1, prayer and a prayer community. The power of prayer for your kids is by far the most powerful tool that you have in your mom tool belt. But be sure you are praying God's will and not your will in their life. A true surrendered prayer and trusting God's love for them and that His plan for their future is good. Also, a prayer community. Gather other moms around that will commit to praying for your child, as well as you praying for theirs. Community builds strength and encouragement. Look, sometimes we're going to get weary, and a community will build you up. I don't know what I would have done in some of the circumstances I've been in if I didn't have a solid foundation of prayer partners. Number 2, availability. Be available to listen, not answer. Sometimes our kids need us to be good listeners versus fixers, especially as they grow into adulthood. Katie's realization that unsolicited advice could be seen as criticism is so powerful and true. Give advice when asked, but sometimes Oftentimes, being a good listener is all your kiddo needs to process through difficult situations. Number 3, asking and allowing hard questions. Amberly shared the importance of allowing our kids to have their own questions. And again, it doesn't have to be with a quick answer to follow. Sometimes use this opportunity as a way to explore and guide your children to the truth. Also, it's okay and often necessary to be the one asking the questions, not because you're demanding an answer, but maybe you're prompting consideration. Number 4, be irrationally optimistic. Speak truth over your child when the world begins to knock them down, and it will. You be the one to remind them of what they know to be true. Number 5, model gratitude. I remember in the movie Pretty Woman when Julia Roberts and Richard Gere are having a conversation and he's complimenting her. And there's a line where she says, the bad stuff is easier to believe. And she's right, because when we set our minds on the negative things, we become blind to the positive things. We need to shift our mind to things that we are grateful for and to the positive things, because all of a sudden when we do that, that's what we will continuously see. Just like the example that Amberly used in her episode about the janitor. Mommy, your job is not done. Just because your kids may have moved out, your role in their life is just as vital as ever. Don't believe for 1 second that your presence, your prayers, and your guidance in their life doesn't matter, because it does. Until next time. Thanks so much for listening to Masquerade of Motherhood with Courtney Doyle. We want to be sure this blesses you and other mothers. And in order to do this, first, you must subscribe. This way you won't ever miss an episode. Also, if you'll rate and review this podcast on iTunes or wherever you're listening, this will increase our reach to other mothers who need a little encouragement, a community, and a whole lot of Jesus. We're so glad you're here.